Time to light it up. What is... Kill me now.
Welcome back to Merry Maniacs for December 2017, and I am continuing talking about movies I saw when I was no longer on the channel for the whole month. And the big film that came out that everybody was wanting to hate on was Justice League. Is it Justice League of America? Or is it Justice League? I don't know. I think it's just Justice League. I don't even know the title of the movie. But, I've been waiting to see this for a long time, obviously. I think as everyone else did. And there's a lot of people out there, a lot of critics, a lot of, comic book fans, a lot of everybody who just want to hate on this movie, who just wants to despise this film, who just wants to run this thing through the coals and say how just stupid it is and how disgusted they were from watching it and how horrible it is and all this stuff. Now, as a comic book fan and a big DC fan, I can tell you that no, that they're all wrong, that, a normal, everyday person who goes and sees this film, who wants to just enjoy a fun superhero film, will really enjoy this movie. It's basically what Superman versus Batman should have been. It's basically what Superman, even though I like the first Superman, this is more on the line of where they should have been going the whole time with the DC Universe. And the thing is, again, sort of like the Thor movie, this was a fun movie. It was. It wasn't sort of the dark, brooding, let's kill everybody, destroy the entire planet, tear down all the buildings, kill everyone, have Batman blow people up with grenade and machine guns and blow them up in cars. It wasn't that kind of movie. And that's why I liked it. Well, Batman was in it, and Wonder Woman, and, let's see, who else was in the movie? Aquaman was in it, and Cyborg was in it, and of course Superman is also in it, which, no shock, because he's on all the posters and everything. And you think, oh my god, you got so many superheroes in there, there's so much stuff that can go wrong with this movie, but that's what actually made this movie good. Actually, what made the movie great, to tell you the truth. That's, how much I enjoyed this film. I did actually laugh quite a lot in the movie. And again, I think that's what people hated about the film is, it's DC. It needs to be super serious. It's not, Marvel. And you can't make jokes with Batman. You can't make jokes with Superman, all this stuff. And absolutely you can. If you do it correctly, which they did in this movie, you can absolutely have fun with a superhero film. And it is. It's just a fun action superhero film. It's a lot like Suicide Squad, which I loved. Suicide Squad was actually one of my favorite movies last year, just because it was action-packed. I love the characters. I love what they did with it. And, this is actually, I think, better than Suicide Squad, because, this has characters you really... See, Suicide Squad was trying to introduce characters to people... I knew who they were, most of them anyway, and most of the public did not know who they were. But I would imagine... Oh, Flash is in this movie, too. I forgot about Flash. Flash. I just remembered. Because a lot of people know Flash. They know, obviously, Batman. Then now they know Wonder Woman, of course. And some of them, I guess, know who Aquaman is. And Cyborg is kind of an iffy one. I don't know if that many people know Cyborg. But Cyborg has always been one of my favorite DC characters. I think he's a really cool character. And they did a great job with him in this movie. I really liked what they did with Cyborg in this film. And I always knew that Aquaman would have a great film. I knew they could make a really great movie with him. And even though he's a person who talks to fish, sort of, but I think his world underneath the water and his whole origin and his past and all the cool stuff that can happen, I always thought he could make a great movie. And if they got the right character, the right actor to play the character, he could be great. And it was. It was absolutely, they did a fantastic job with Aquaman in this movie. He was really great. And of course they brought back Wonder Woman, and you actually got to see her do some Wonder Woman action in this film really early in the movie. And it's pretty spectacular stuff they were filming with her doing some action. She did action, obviously, in the Wonder Woman film, but this is, like, updated. This is, in now, to see her, kind of doing the same stuff that she, more elaborately, I guess you can say, than she did in the Wonder Woman film. And of course, now you have the Flash in here too. And I'm a huge fan of the Flash TV show, Barry Allen. And when they were showing the stuff for Flash in the movie, I was like, I already saw that in the TV show. And it was kind of interesting seeing the same stuff that you already knew, his origin and his father being in prison and all that stuff. I mean, I already knew all that. But it was interesting because it was like, oh, I know this character. I know this character really well. And the guy that played the Flash wasn't bad. I mean, he was okay. He did an okay job. I wish they would have gotten the TV show version of Barry. But I can see why why they decided they didn't want to cross those streams between the TV show and the movie. I can see them doing that. I know why, but still, he was cool. I liked him, and all these characters coming together. It was what made the movie good. It made the movie fun because you got to see there's so many characters in the film, and it never really slowed it down. It never bogged it down. The bad guy in here is named Steppenwolf. And this man, again, the bad guy in this film is not on the same level as some of the bad guys in some of the other films or any of the Marvel movies. But he is what he is, and he had to have a whole army of like bug people, because the thing is, when you make a big epic movie like this, you can't just usually have one bad guy. You had to have one bad guy, and you had to have 10,000 other things for the superheroes to fight. So in this movie, there were like bug people. And they kind of remind me of the bug people that were in the second Star Wars film, little, bug guys. And again, you had to have some minions flying around, for them to fight before they get to the main bad guy. And he wasn't, he was okay. I mean, he was probably the weakest thing in the movie, was Steppenwolf through the whole film. And I was thinking about this movie for a while now after I've seen it, and I kept thinking to myself, okay, so if they did a Marvel thing, say they did, what Marvel managed to do through all their films, and have an Iron Man film, and then have a Captain America film, and then have a Thor movie, and then have like sequels to those, and then come out with the Avengers, and then all these characters in there, and it had this huge build up to the Avengers. And if the Avengers had sucked, then it would have destroyed, basically, I think the Marvel Universe would not be the Marvel Universe anymore, because that's what they were building up to, was something epic, something huge, and that's what the Avengers was, and it did it, better than anyone, I guess, ever could imagine. If they had done that with this movie, say if they had, because they don't even have a separate Batman movie yet. It's just Ben Affleck in... He's been in sort of like small roles throughout, these movies. Obviously he was in Batman vs. Superman, but he didn't have a starring role in it. And he was in Suicide Squad for a couple seconds. And then now he's in this, and he's in it for quite a lot. But he hasn't had his own time to shine. He hasn't had his own film, is what I'm saying. Like Superman had his own film. They should have given Batman his own film, give Aquaman his own film. Wonder Woman has her own film, so you already know who she is. Could have maybe given Cyborg his own film, but it could have been either Cyborg and maybe Flash in there, so they both could have mixed in with the same. Because I don't know if either one of those could handle their own movie by themselves. They're sort of more supporting characters. So what I'm saying is, if they all separated their movies like this, and then this was the movie that came out of that, I would have probably been disappointed in it. And because it wasn't epic enough for that to happen, is what I'm saying. Now, the way it is, because you see all these characters for the first time in this movie, it did give it more of that epic feeling. But if you had already split all these characters up into their own individual... can't talk. If you split all these characters up into their own individual movies, and then gave us a movie, I think it would have been a little bit more disappointing, because it was not on the epic scale that the Avengers was. Even though the Avengers, what are you going to do to top that? You can't really, unless Infinity War is coming out, obviously, and I think that's going to blow away any of the Avengers movies, because it's Marvel, and they've established they know what they're doing here, and DC is still trying to, they're in the rowboat trying to get, trying to catch up with them. So they're not caught. They have not caught up with them yet. Not at all. But this still was a fun movie. Again, all that aside, the villain was he was okay, but I think the superheroes and their backstories and the movie moved really quick too. It was a really fast moving movie. So Danny Elfman did the score to this, which I thought was outstanding. And again, a lot of people are complaining about it because he actually used his own Batman theme for Ben Affleck, and I thought that was awesome. I was like, oh my god, it's Batman, it's the theme. And the thing with Superman, I mean, Superman has a Superman theme. You can, and it's like, old people, he's getting really big-headed that he thinks he can just use whatever theme he wants, even if it's his own theme. It's not his movie to do it in. You know, it's stuff like that. People just want to complain. They just want to complain. They don't want to have fun with movies. People just want to just go to a movie and tear it down, and that's not what we do here on Box Office Maniacs. I go see something, and it may not be end of the world, shattering, amazing like Avengers. It's still fun though, and it was a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed this movie from beginning to end. And even my wife, who hasn't even liked any of the DC movies, really enjoyed this one. And to tell you the truth, people in the theater, when I went to go see this, were laughing in the movie. And sometimes they were cheering in it even. And even after it was over, they clapped at the end of it. Everybody started clapping. And again, it's for people who just want to enjoy a movie. I mean, if you're on the fence about it, go see it. I think you will really enjoy it. Just go in there with zero expectations. Sit down and just have a fun time. And that's what this movie should have been, and that's what it is. So Zack Snyder directed this film, and a lot of people have been running him to the dirt as well. And I think he kind of deserves that, a little bit anyway, because he made some really great films in his early careers, like 300 I thought was incredible, and then he made Dawn of the Dead remake, which I thought was incredible, and then he made The Watchmen, which I really loved. And then from that point up until Superman, he just kind of went off the cliff and started making this terrible stuff. And he tried to redeem himself in Superman, and he didn't. Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible, like I said. But then he made Superman vs. Batman, which Vince and I actually reviewed. And it's one of those lost reviews. I have no idea whatever happened to it. It never got posted. But I hated it. I hated Batman vs. Superman. I thought it was just horrendous. And now he's, I think, redeemed himself with this movie. I think he did a really good job with this film. So overall, I would give the Justice League a 5 out of 5. I enjoyed it that much. And haters are going to hate. What can you do with them? I mean, you can't really do anything with them. People are going to hate this film for, whatever reason. I know the guy that was playing Superman in it, which I didn't realize, I found out after seeing the movie, had a mustache that they had a CG off of his face, so it made his face really weird and messed up looking. And when I was watching the movie, you have sort of that thing in your back of your head, like, okay, something's not right here. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, they kind of messed his mouth up and his lip up because they CG'd the mustache off. But again, I mean, whatever. I mean, it's didn't kill the movie for me. That did not kill the film for me that Superman had a digital mustache removed. So, and it was good seeing Superman back being Superman. It was good seeing Batman be Batman. That's what I loved about this movie. They were not the Superman and Batman of the, killing everybody and destroying everybody of the Batman v Superman. This was Batman being Batman. This is Superman being Superman. It's all these characters being the characters that they needed to be in this movie, and that's why I enjoyed it so much. Go in there and have fun. Just go in there and just have a fun time with a superhero action film. Is it, The Godfather? No. Will it ever be The Godfather? No. Will it ever be some super serious whatever? No. But I do believe also that there is an extended version of this, because there were scenes in the movie that I felt as if they were going in this whatever, they were doing a scene in the movie, and it jump cut to another scene. And it felt like there was something there that they cut out. And I know they said they cut out like 45 minutes of this movie. And of course it's going to be on Blu-ray and 4K and whatever when it comes out. I guarantee you, because that's what happened to Batman vs. Superman. They added all the stuff back in, and it's going to be in this. It is. And I'm really looking forward to that version. I really want to see it too. As much as I enjoyed this, I want to kind of see it expanded a little bit, and probably would even enjoy it more. So that's it. That's it for Justice League. That's my review. We have new shirts if you are interested. I'm wearing one right now. It's Merry Maniacs shirt. And we have a store that are selling our shirts in. We have updated versions of Box Office Maniacs if you don't want to walk around wearing Merry Maniacs. And so if you want to visit that store, it will be in the description box because we are trying to actually make some extra money here for December, believe it or not. I know, it's crazy, yeah, but and it's a good way to show your support for the channel if you want to, shell out some cash for us. And trust me, we get very little, very little anything back from these shirts. I mean, nothing. So, but it's still cool if you guys would want to show some support. Go to the show wearing a Merry Maniac shirt or a Box Office Maniac shirt or whatever shirt you want. Just make sure you have a shirt on when you go to the show. So hopefully you enjoyed this review. I enjoyed bringing it to you. And until next time, we'll see you on Merry Maniacs.